Okay, so today we're going to talk about 3D versus 5D. What are the differences? What does it mean when people talk about it? And are you feeling this shift? This is something that a lot of my clients right now are dealing with, but we have been shifting into 5D for quite some time, but it's just becoming a little bit more like relevant where you're like, okay, I think this is actually happening right now. So, how do you even know? So, if you've kind of been feeling like people that you were once close to are just like kind of drifting away. It's not anything that you are naturally like, don't talk to me, don't have anything to do with me. They're just naturally drifting away. Or you're noticing your conversation with certain family or certain friends or family members, they're just not the same. You're like, I used to be really interested in these conversations. This used to be my vibe. And then they just don't hit the same anymore. Or maybe you're starting to see the world completely differently. You're questioning things and you're feeling disconnected from the way most people think. Like, you're like, I know that most people think this way, but this is the way that I think. And you're starting to kind of look at things from a different perspective and kind of understand things right now. Let me first say, you are not crazy. If you're like, okay, is it me? Do I not fit in? Is it me? Am I in the wrong? No, no, you're just shifting into a higher consciousness. So today we're going to really dive into that shift of 5D versus 3D. And I'm going to break down to you what exactly does this all mean and how to tell which you are operating in and why so many people right now in this day and age are actually experiencing major shifts in relationships, friendships, and even career paths. You'll find that certain careers that some people were like, this is always where my been my focus, it was always my passions, were always my dreams, and now all of a sudden it's like, I don't really want that anymore. And then you guys feel guilt and you feel shame and you feel bad. Like, can we give ourselves a pause that you guys feel bad when you guys are evolving and you guys are growing? Like, why? Anyways, I'm going to give you guys some tools too to help you shift into the 5D without slipping back into the 3D energy. So this is one of the biggest things I think when it comes to like spiritual growth is shifting from 5D to 3D or 3D to 5D. You get what I'm saying? Because people that we thought were going to be in our life for a really long time are just falling away. So like for me, I've made this shift a long time ago and I have given up relationships out of my own choice because I've realized like we're not in alignment. Like no matter what, how much I talk to you, no matter how much I share, you're never going to see the world the way that I see it. And that's fine. I understand with compassion or grace that you don't have to see the world I do, but it's not my job to carry that relationship or that friendship or to focus my energy over in that direction. It's not my job to hold somebody else up like that. I help you guys, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like that's it. So I have seen myself like I said, I've stepped away from relationships, even family members that I'm like, look, I can say hi to you and we can hang out at family events, but at the end of the day, there's like I've lost that deeper bond, that deeper connection, because they just don't understand my perspective or the world that I look at, the way that I see it, and that again is okay, but it doesn't make it any easier. So I don't know. If you guys are kind of experiencing any of these things that I've kind of talked about, or you've experienced this shift, like if have your relationships changed? Are you seeing through old patterns? I want to know, like, this is where we build community. So make sure you put it in the comments below. So, all right, let's start first with 3D. Most of us were raised in the mindset for a long time, like in this 3D mindset. It was the way that society has been raised. It's around our family belief system's been raised. This is like the matrix. This is what we talk about, the matrix, like all the way that society, the beliefs, the politics, all of that is like embedded in our consciousness. And when we live in that consciousness, we're rooted in fear, we're rooted in control, survival, and there's a lot of separation. It's heavy, it is thick, it's exhausting, it's tiring. See, the 3D life is really about your external successes. It's about work, it's about money, it's about status, it's about relationships based on like obligation. It's about doing instead of being. It's like, I have to do this. I need to do this. This is the goals. This is the status. This is what everybody chases. This is what I should want because society is telling me this is the way I should live. And this is what happens is that we're making choices what we think we should do, or society and our status and all these things, and we're chasing it. We're chasing things, right? We're not attracting things, we're chasing things. And this makes people become reactive. They believe life happens to them, not for them, and everything feels like a struggle. Do you see it? Like, are you getting anxiety while I'm talking? Because I am. The only trust that they can really see, measure, or prove. Okay, that's the only thing. So if they can see it, they can prove it, they can touch it, then they trust it. If I talk, see, energy, intuition, and logic don't go hand in hand. Okay. So if I talk to them about energy work, if I talk to them about intuition, if I talk to them about synchronicities, they're going to be like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what? Like, you sound crazy, right? Like, they're going to look at you like that. 3D relationships are often rooted in attachment. They're rooted in control or fear of being alone. It's like, I need you so you can make me feel this way, and we can like make each other feel a certain way. And it's this attachment, and it's like control, and it's a fear of being alone rather than like a genuine connection. So an example is, I had a client who was really stuck in her 3D mindset, where she felt trapped in her job. She hated it. But the fear was that if I let go of this job, how am I going to make money? Like, how am I going to survive? On top of it wasn't only her job, but now she was in a relationship that she also was like, I don't even think I have any value in this relationship. Like, she started doubting herself, talking negative to herself, questioning her self-worth. And the idea of leaving scared her. It scared her. It scared her for leaving her job. It scared her for leaving her relationship. And even though she was miserable in these things, she was like kind of forcing herself to stay, because she was fearing, if I leave, I'm going to be alone. What if I never find anybody? What if I don't get that job that I want? That's a classic 3D thinking. Choosing comfort over expansion. Do you understand? So have you ever felt like you were stuck in a loop, you were repeating the same patterns, but you were afraid to break free? If so, you're probably operating from a 3D consciousness without you even realizing it. But I don't want you guys to get down on yourself. I don't want you to think like, oh man, I knew it, or do anything negative. So let's move into 5D really quick. This is where you start to operate from love. You start to operate from unity and flow instead of fear, control, and survival. It's not about where you go to get it. It's the frequency you embody. The 5D is a consciousness that is internal inside of you. You are attracting life to you rather than chasing life. You are attracting experiences to you rather than chasing the experience. It's all about that inner working. The 5Ds, you understand that reality is created inside of you rather than outside of you. You know your energy, your thoughts, and your beliefs. Those things are inside of you, and they shape the experience around you. They shape your story. So because of this, you start detaching from this external validation of somebody saying, good job, or here you go, or here's the raise, or whatever it is, so that you can get approval or confirmation that you are choosing the right things. You don't need it because you trust your own alignment. You live from the heart instead of trying to force relationships, opportunities, or outcomes. And you attract them because you're in your highest frequency. So you understand that if I work on my self-worth, if I love myself, if I acknowledge myself, if I do my shadow work, then I'm going to attract what's for the highest and best for me, because that's the frequency that I am on. I don't dip my energy down to match you. You need to raise your energy to match me. And if we don't match, that's okay. So you stop being reactive. Instead of immediately responding to negativity, you step back and you think about it, and you choose how you want to engage in this. Do you see the difference? So it's like, let's say for instance, I'm having an argument with a family member. I'm going to leave names out of it because I'm having an argument with a family member. And they see life completely different than I do. And no matter what I say, and no matter how I say it, they're never going to change their perspective. And they're going to think to me, why are you forcing this? Why are you acting this way? This is you. You're making an issue, but you're like, I'm not making an issue. I'm not making an issue. I'm just not choosing to live in anger and frustration and chaos. That's your choice to live in that. Therefore, I'm going to step back rather than engage in this negativity. I'm going to step back for my highest and best good. So I let go of it. I let go of it. There's often times where I tell people, like with jobs, that this is the job that is meant for you, but you're trying to hold it like this, like it has to look A, B, C, D, and E. And you have to learn to let it flow and grow, because maybe it has to come to you in a different order for you to really get the full perspective. That's kind of an idea of 5D. I'm going to go a little bit deeper though, okay? And I want you to be honest about where you're at. So let's talk about 3D signs. I know that we can go back and forth. So if you're like, wait, I'm this, but I don't want to be this, like grace, compassion, we're not judging. What's that saying? I don't judge. I listen and we don't judge. We listen and we don't judge. So 3D signs. You're highly reactive to people and situations. You feel stuck, drained, and exhausted by life. You believe that things happen to you, not for you. Like, why is this happening to me? You judge yourself based on external successes, like how much money you make, what you look like what is your status. Your relationships feel like what is the word, like a battle or an obligation. They don't bring you peace or ease, and you struggle to trust your intuition or higher guidance. Okay. 5D. You feel at peace even when times are really uncertain. You just know it's going to be okay. You trust that things will unfold exactly as they should without having to see the bigger picture. You start attracting people and opportunities without forcing them. It's just like a magnet. They come to you. You live from a place of love and not fear, and you're aware of your energy and how it affects your reality. So I want you to drop a comment. Let's be honest. Be brutally honest with yourself. Do you feel like you're in 3D? Are you shifting between both? Because we do. Or are you fully living in 5D? So with all of this, you might be like, all right, this is kind of making sense to me a little bit, but I'm separating from people. I don't like it. Or why is the separation happening? One of the biggest realizations that you're moving from 3D to 5D is when you're not resonating with the same people anymore. I am saying that with full compassion. This is why so many people are experiencing breakups, friendship losses, or feeling alone. And it's not just with friendships or with relationships, it's also with family. The thing is that drama that once entertained you doesn't work anymore. That negativity or that gossip, it's not the fuel to your fire. You crave a deeper and more meaningful connections with like-minded people. And some relationships fade because they were based on old versions of you. That is so hard. When I chose this life for myself, and I did, I was like, I'm evolving. There's nothing that could stand in my way. Nothing could stand in my way. There reached a point in my life where I was realizing, at the time I was married, and I was like, I'm evolving, and I can choose to stay in this relationship and not evolve and carry the weight, or I can choose to continue to evolve. And I can choose to continue to evolve because I knew my purpose was so much higher, meaning all of this that I do and all the platforms was part of my purpose. But I lost a lot of friends. And it was just because that character they knew was based on old versions of me, and it was no longer who I was. And I knew my worth enough to know I had every right to choose me. So with that, in a 5D consciousness, you're seeing things clearly while others are still really caught in the illusion. So how then do we shift into that 5D? How do you actually move 3D to 5D? Here's how it works. One, I mentioned a little bit about shadow work, and that's where you're going to really focus on healing your traumas, facing your fears, and releasing limited beliefs. It's hard. It takes time. It takes work, and you're going to find you're going to do shadow work, then you're going to be good, and then you're going to redo shadow work because it's like an onion of a layer that you have to get deeper and deeper. And a shadow work is all those internal traumas, things that happen to our life that we've pushed way, way down, and we think, I'm fine, I'm good, and we continue to go throughout our life. But that energy still resides in us, and we are the ones that are responsible for healing that energy, nobody else. We're the ones responsible for bringing that energy back up to us. The other part is meditation and prayer. I call God God or the divine, but you're going to strengthen your connection with God, higher self, the divine, spirit. You need to make that connection because they are a part of you trusting your inner intuition, your inner knowing. You're going to let go of fear. You're going to step away of fear-based narrative. So anything that is causing you that anxiety and that fear, you're just going to pull back. You're going to be like, no, I choose not to believe that. I choose not to believe the script that we are being fed. I choose not. And with that comes trust and surrender. Flow instead of forcing things. I'm going to flow in this energy because it feels right. It feels aligned. It feels natural. Instead of having to know the end of the story before I trust it, before having to know what's going to happen before I move forward, I'm just going to allow myself to flow because my intuition, my inner knowing knows that this feels right. And it may not be what's expected, and that's okay. The most important part of this, though, is having also a understanding of your energy of yourself. You have to know what you are as a whole, energetically, authenticity. You have to know all of that because when you have that, then you have the awareness of the energy around you to surround yourself with high frequency people, places, or situations and habits. This shapes you into a 5D. You are now giving yourself a solid, stable life to kind of mind and work. It's hard. What helped me shape into my 5D consciousness was support, was community, was collective, was speaking with like-minded people and knowing at times if I was feeling certain things that I was not alone and I am not crazy. I have to have a support system by me at all times. Not all times, because most importantly, you have to really work on yourself and have an inner knowing and be brave and courageous in your shadow work. But having a support system around you is key. For me, it's key. It's only 2 or 3 people, but it's still good. So work on your mindset, take care of your self-care, love yourself, acknowledge yourself. Everything that we are taught to chase externally outside of ourselves, focus on giving yourself internally. Because if you give yourself that love, you give yourself that confirmation, you give yourself that worth, you're not going to go after it in that sense of self. I had to really focus too on my routines. I meditate every day. I have to work out and take care of my body. I have to also, with that comes that inner sense of knowing. And if there's days I need rest, there's days I need to go on a date with myself, or I might just trust myself into just go over here because that's where I need to go and what I need to do. So anyways, where do you guys feel like you are right now? Are you 3D? Are you 5D? Are you somewhere in between? I want to drop a comment. I want to hear your experiences. Who knows? Maybe we'll make a whole nother segment. If you're feeling stuck right now and you need guidance, that's what I do. Ask me about my services. I'll be so glad to help you. Readings, clearings, coaching. Anyways, there's links there. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit like, you hit subscribe, and turn on your notifications for more content on spiritual growth, intuition, and healing, because I'm going to be building more and more content like this. And like I said, the last video, the quality of these videos will get better within time as you guys build up with me on this platform. Also, make sure you guys are following me on Patreon, where I will be channeling and talking about things that I don't have to worry about being, what is the word? Watched or concerned they're going to report me, because that happens on TikTok and all these other things. So, all right, guys, I will talk to you guys later. I hope you have a great, magical, wonderful day. Bye.